You're reading too much into it, Nida said with a soft laugh, adjusting her hair as if nothing was wrong. It was just a dance. Just a dance. That's what she called it. But the way she looked at him told a different story. The music played softly around us, people talking, laughing, living in their own moments. And there I was, standing just a few steps away, watching my wife drift into someone else's space like I didn't exist. I didn't know the guy. But he carried himself like someone who didn't need permission. Confident. Relaxed. Comfortable in a place that wasn't his. And somehow, she made it feel like it was. Nida, I said quietly. She glanced at me, her expression barely changing. Please don't make a scene. That hit harder than anything else. Not anger. Not denial. Just dismissal. Have you ever realized, in a single moment, that something important had already started slipping away long before you noticed? That's what it felt like. I stepped back. Not because I didn't care, but because I suddenly understood something. If someone wants to be seen by someone else, no amount of attention from you will matter. We left soon after. The drive home was silent. Not the peaceful kind, but the kind that feels unfinished, like a conversation that never happened. She scrolled through her phone, smiling occasionally at something I couldn't see. I kept my eyes on the road. I didn't ask. Because deep down, I already knew. The next morning, everything looked normal again. She moved through the kitchen like nothing had changed. Last night was actually nice, she said casually. I looked at her for a moment. Was it? She didn't notice the meaning behind it. Or maybe she chose not to. And that's when it became clear. Sometimes people don't suddenly become different. They just stop pretending to be who you thought they were. After that night, I stopped reacting. Not because I didn't feel anything, but because I realized reacting wouldn't change the truth. Nida continued as usual. Same routines. Same casual tone. Same distance that slowly grew wider without being acknowledged. But I started paying attention. The small details. The things people think go unnoticed. The way she turned her phone slightly away when messaging. How her energy shifted when she thought I wasn't looking. How she seemed more present everywhere else, except with me. Most people would confront it. Ask questions. Demand clarity. I didn't. Because sometimes silence reveals more than confrontation ever could. And what I saw wasn't confusion. It was choice. She wasn't unsure. She was drifting, intentionally. That realization changed everything. Instead of trying to pull her back, I let go. Not completely, but enough to see what would happen. And what happened was simple. She didn't notice. That told me everything. So I made a decision. Not out of anger, but out of awareness. I started focusing on myself again. Things I had ignored for too long. Time alone. Clear thinking. Distance from something that had quietly become exhausting. Then one evening, I did something unexpected. When I pulled into the driveway, the sound alone brought her outside. She looked at the car, confused. When did this happen? Today, I replied calmly. Her expression tightened. You didn't think to tell me? I leaned against the door for a moment. I didn't think it mattered. That stopped her. Because she knew. That wasn't about the car. It was about everything. About decisions made without communication. About distance that had already settled in. She opened her mouth to respond, but nothing came out. And for once, I didn't fill the silence. Because I wasn't trying to fix anything anymore. I was just starting to see things clearly. The distance between us didn't break suddenly. It stretched. Quietly. Until it couldn't hold anymore. When my birthday came around, I didn't want attention. Didn't want noise. Just something simple. But Nida insisted on inviting people over. It'll help, she said. I didn't ask what she meant. I just agreed. The house filled up quickly. Voices, laughter, movement. From the outside, everything looked fine. But I stayed on the edges, watching instead of participating. And then I saw him. The same man. Standing inside my home. That wasn't coincidence. That was intention. I looked at her. She saw him too. But instead of coming to me, she avoided my eyes. That was enough. Time passed slowly after that. Then suddenly, they were both gone. No explanation. No hesitation. I didn't panic. I just followed the silence. A closed door. A quiet sound. And then, the truth. Clear. Undeniable. There was no confusion left. No doubt. Just reality. They froze when they saw me. Waiting. Expecting something. Anger. Shouting. Reaction. But I didn't give them that. Because in that moment, I didn't feel anger. I felt clarity. The kind that removes every question you've been holding on to. I stepped back. Turned around. And walked away. Not because I didn't care. But because there was nothing left worth staying for. I didn't go back inside. I didn't explain. I just left. The night air felt different. Lighter. Like something heavy had finally lifted without asking for permission. I drove without direction. Not trying to escape. Just trying to think without noise. And for the first time in a long time, my thoughts were clear. It wasn't about betrayal. Not entirely. It was about realization. About seeing something for what it truly was. Not what I hoped it could be. When I finally stopped somewhere quiet, I sat there for a long time. No music. No distractions. Just silence. And strangely, it felt peaceful. Later, my phone lit up with messages. Calls. Questions. Concern. I didn't rush to answer. Because for once, I wasn't reacting. I was choosing. When I eventually returned, everything had changed. No pretending left. No illusions. Just truth. She looked at me like she didn't recognize me anymore. Maybe she didn't. I handed her the envelope. No drama. No raised voices. Just a decision. She tried to speak. Tried to explain. But I stopped her. There's nothing left to explain, I said calmly. And there wasn't. Because some moments don't break you. They wake you up. And once you see things clearly, you can't go back to who you were before. I walked away from that life without hesitation. Not angry. Not lost. Just free. Because in the end, walking away was the only thing that made sense.